Hi there. I'm Erin with an A. And I'd like to say first, I sort of regret some of the things I said in the last video. Since then, I found out that Contrapoints deleted her Twitter, and whether she comes back, nobody knows. And I'd like to apologize by the criticisms that I thought that were very inflammatory and very in bad faith. I'd like to apologize for referencing and calling her true scum. I don't believe she's true scum. Though afterwards I did state that I knew she knew better. And I think that a lot of the things that I said in that video were kind of badly stated. And for that, I'm sorry. But secondly, I'd also like to say, what is left unity? And how is it bad to criticize influencers who are on our side? How is it bad to criticize ourselves? Like, how bad is it to criticize a comrade who might have said a bad thing? Like, say there's a comrade who says, "Hi, I don't believe in ideology. I believe IDPOL is just a way of distracting us from class politics, and that is just a waste of time. Class politics is what we need to focus on." Now you could critique that. You could critique that and say that no, racism, transphobia, homophobia, sexism, ableism all need to be addressed to unite the classes. And then they could say, well, they're all rooted in the same thing. But if we don't address it, how can we sort of reveal these truths? And that's where I think that most decent people would agree. Now, I have no right. Another thing I regret is I have no right to tell Contrapoints or say that she's not really a leftist. Who cares how she identifies her politics? It's her own damn decision. That's her own damn thing to put herself in. Whatever label she chooses, that's good for her. But I don't like saying an apology with a but. I don't like saying, well, this isn't really an apology. This is more of a, I could have done this better. This is more of a, I'd like to say this better. And I think I came off wrong and I came off very confrontational. And for that, I'm very sorry. I'm not very good. That was my first video. I'm not very good at this whole video thing. It's kind of new to me. So another thing I'd like to say is that most of the people who complain about cancel culture are worried about nothing. I think that it's really an excuse to not analyze your own decisions and look into yourselves and at your own prejudices and really critique yourself. I think that cancel culture is most of the time an excuse to be like, well, I did nothing wrong. It's just everybody's so sensitive nowadays. People are just so sensitive. These NBs, they are so sensitive. Ugh, these transes are so sensitive. These black people are so sensitive. When really, dude, you got critiqued for saying some bigoted shit. Own up to it. That's what a person said. That you have to learn to take critique. If you want people to learn, if you want people to grow, you need to yourself admit that you are not a perfect person. Like, I'll be the first to say I am not a perfect person, and I never did. I never said I was a perfect person. I was obviously very angry in that video, and I felt very betrayed because, you know, I wanted to believe in the best in Contrapoints because I was her fan. And I don't know if I can look at her content the same again. So instead of telling me that, or telling non binary people like me who are upset about this, that we're dividing the left, that we're being inflammatory, instead, I think that instead we should listen. Now, I obviously think that maybe we should listen to ContraPoints. I saw at one point there was someone who tried to dox her, or that she might have gotten harassed in the DMs, and that is not cool. That is not cool. Or like they degender her because they thought, oh, people are mad at her now. Now I can just like let out all my bigotries and all my transphobia. Now that she's a horrible person, I don't think she deserves to be gendered correctly. Now, I'm not going to misgender her in this video. I'm never going to misgender her. I always think that I was a baby trans, and I knew that was a shitty move. That was a shit move. And I don't think that any decent person would ever do that. And if you do that, you're a shit person. I'm sorry. You can work to grow from it, you can learn from it. I think everyone's capable of growth. But it comes from inside ourselves. Now, let me tell you a story. I used to be the president of my college's GSA. I established it. I did all the paperwork, all the senseless grinding. I sat outside for hours getting signatures, constantly talking about it. I made the flyers. I got everyone together. And I put so much time, money, and effort. I bought, like, I would buy pizza. I would buy snacks for them. I would put all this time and effort into this club that I felt was surely needed at the school. And then one day, one of my fellow club members, he lashed out at me, told me that I was criticizing how he was dressing. And I said sorry. I said sorry a lot. I said sorry more times than I could count. And it was never good enough for him. I've always wronged him. And, you know, I tried to make amends with him. I tried to help him. And it was never good enough for him. But I always said sorry. I always admitted where I could have done better, where I went wrong. And, you know, after a while, I left the club. It was for reasons a bit bigger than that. You see, I dated the vice president, and one day out of the blue, he broke up with me. And it's still kind of painful. And he said I abused him. Now, when I asked how, he never gave me a reason. And I just spent so much time analyzing what I could have done wrong, what I could have done better, to the point where I thought that I'm a monster. I can't even figure out how I abused him. I asked one of my friends, well, he's not really a friend. I asked one of the club members what I did wrong. There was no answer. And I understand when you're in a position of power, like, sometimes people are going to be mean to you. Some people, you're going to get a lot of harsh criticism. You're going to get a lot of hurt. And maybe some of it's unfounded. Maybe some of it is wrong. Maybe some of it is people overreacting. But you still need to take responsibility. You see, when I knew that most of the club hated me, or not most of the club, but like several of the main council members, there were pretty much just three active members. One was my ex-boyfriend, one was a friend of an ex-friend, and he obviously hated me. The other two were less active. One liked me. One probably didn't like me if they were getting all the information through the friend of an ex-friend. So I left. And that was the beginning of this summer. And I saw that nobody was going to be in my corner then, and I left. Now, if that's how Contrapoints feels, I'm sorry. Nobody deserves to feel like that. And as much as I think you did say a couple of things that did hurt me, I don't think you're a bad person. So basically, what I'm saying is that for me, Counterpoints isn't canceled. What she does next is up to her. And I think she's going to rise up from this, and I'd like to hope she comes up better from this. Maybe taking a step will be good for her. I saw a couple of people mocking her for leaving Twitter, saying it's a bad mood and that she's doubling down. And at one point she did double down, but I think that really what it was a step back. And I think that's what we all need. Honestly, I'm tired of this drama. You know, like, she said a lot of questionable things about non binary people. And I think if she took a step back, if she actually paid attention to the people who were legitimately hurt and not using this as a way to just bully her, because I am aware that there maybe was a couple of people who were just joining in because they thought, hey, it's socially okay to bully a trans woman now. Hip, hip, hooray. Yay. Ugh. I don't like being on that side. And I think that there was a lot of people who were legitimately hurt, but I think that the internet sucks. The internet sucks. It's how it is. The internet sucks. But it's not too different from what I believe back then, where I think that we should criticize ourselves. Now, I'm taking a step back. I'm starting my transition. I'm working out every day. I think what now we need to do is heal. What we now need to do is say, I'm sorry for what I've done. I'm sorry that I may have hurt you. That's not what I wanted. Let me understand. And that's what I think we really need. So, I'm sorry if this wasn't, if you watched my video and think, ooh, he's gonna be super inflammatory and super call outy. I'm not. That's not my style. It's never gonna be. And I thought about deleting my first video, but I don't believe in erasing my mistakes. I believe in letting people see how I felt at a time and growing from that. So I think that, yes, left unity is very important. Stop using cancel culture. Most of the time, you're not being canceled. What you need to do is listen or step back, take a breath, and maybe try to grow on your own. Get offline. Go outside. Get some vitamin D. Drink some water. Take a shower. I'm sorry. Now I'm turning into a boomer. Maybe I am a zoomer. Anyways, take care of yourselves.